Hello, today I'm in a cooking mood, so I'm going to be making my grandmother's pie crust recipe, and I make that so that way I can make pasties, which I don't know if you don't know what pasties are. They are like a Irish meat pie that are really delicious. My mom taught me how to make them, and her mom taught her how to make them, and I am trying to follow my mom's written recipe, which is really big, just for a pie crust. But the thing that makes it really long is the techniques that they had to use back in the day, like knife and forking the dough. So we're gonna cut this in half by making it modern inside a KitchenAid with a fancy thing they have nowadays called a dough hook. So you don't have to use a knife and fork and cut your flour into the Crisco and stuff like that. So I'm gonna take my dough hook and I'm gonna put it onto my mixer. So anyway, with any dough, you always gotta start with some flour, right? So this calls for 4 cups of flour.
3 cups?
Yes, Alana, 4 cups. We got 1, 2, 3.
3 cups of flour.
4.
4 cups of flour.
So next is 2 cups of Crisco, and in the parentheses of this recipe card it says the Crisco is a must.
What'd you say?
I said Crisco is a must. Okay? Alright.
2.
You better be paying attention to this, Alana, because this is going to be your job when you're older. Open up this Crisco. 1 cup of Crisco. Here's the 2nd cup of Crisco. I don't know, 1 teaspoon of salt. Spoon. Baking powder.
Powder.
Baking powder. We gotta do 1/4 cup of baking powder. 4. Baking powder. Now here's where the recipe gets super interesting. So while we do the interesting part of this recipe, I'm actually going to take this flour, Crisco, salt, and baking soda mix. Let that dough hook cut it up. See, back in the day, my grandma and my mom had to take a knife and fork like this with the dough forever. And oh yeah, that's cutting it up real nice. That is getting that nice and cut up. Now we haven't added any of the wet ingredients yet, because we want to get that all nice and pea-sized. Now we're gonna do the fun part of the recipe, just getting the wet things together. Is the way I wish. I'm gonna read it out so you can hear. In a 1 cup measure, add 1 egg, 1 teaspoon vinegar, and ice cold water. It has to be ice cold. So I have water like that's been sitting in ice. But make sure you whip up the egg. And then add water to make 1 full cup. I love how these are written. Very easy to understand.
We're gonna crack an egg.
We're gonna crack the egg. And this is a measuring cup because everything has to equal 1 cup. 1 tablespoon of white vinegar. I love the smell of vinegar.
Smell it.
You want to smell vinegar?
It
smells like flowers. So I'm going to take this ice water and I'm going to put it in the mixture and make exactly 1 cup.
Oh yeah, is this water?
Mix it up. So I'm going to start adding half right in there. That was exactly half. I'm good. Yep. See how it's starting to form a dough? So we're going to add some more of the mixture and get it all in there. It's going to go ahead and it's going to start forming a dough ball.
What?
It's going to make a dough ball.
Dough ball?
But once it starts getting into that ball form, you don't want it to go too much farther because you don't want to overwork your dough. Here's my dough. It's nice and doughy. So perfect for pasty making. It is a little sticky, so I might just dust some flour on it before I go ahead and put it in the refrigerator. But we're gonna put it in the refrigerator so that it gets really cold. And when it's cold, it's gonna roll out really nice. Okay, right now I'm prepping the meat for the pasties, and you wanna make sure that when you cut it in these tiny little pieces. They have to be small because you want to make sure they cook all the way through in the oven because they're going to be inside the pie crust with the potatoes. So with anything, of course, you're always going to want to put salt. And I'm not shy with the salt either. I mean, I put a lot of salt. Some garlic powder, some onion powder. Minced garlic in there as well in my meat. So when I let it sit, it gets that extra flavor in there. Yeah, we're gonna put a lot of pepper in there. My kids are being so well behaved right now. All right, so this is a fun part of pasty making. So I made my dough. It's been in the refrigerator. My meat has been in the refrigerator marinating. Got some chopped green onions, some Kerrygold butter, gotta be Irish butter, and some potatoes in water because we're gonna shred those as we make them because you want your potatoes to be fresh. The potatoes always have to be fresh. Okay. And then egg wash to put on the dough before we put them on the oven. Got my rolling pin and my spatula, my brush, and my shredder, and we're gonna party. It's gonna be awesome. Okay, so earlier, this is the dough that we made. We put it in the refrigerator. I actually ended up making another batch of this. So I have 2 of these, another one in the refrigerator. You don't have to put it in the refrigerator. It'll roll, but it just rolls better when it's cold. It's best to sit down when you're making pasties because you're gonna be here for a while. It's a process. Pinch myself off about a circle's worth, okay? Slap it down. And we're also going to roll it out. Roll it, roll it. Rolling dough. I didn't put enough tape. I don't like putting the dough directly on the table because I don't like cleaning supplies with my dough. And use some paper. Okay, so we got a nice little, put that little piece on there. Got a nice little spot here, okay?
Yeah.
We're gonna take some meat, okay? We're gonna put that meat right on there. Oh, that smells so good. I'm looking at my friend. That smells really good. Okay. Now, what I said about keeping these potatoes fresh is you're gonna take a potato and you're gonna just shred it right onto it. Right on there. Thank God for video editing, you know? Make sure you put it all back on the pasty itself. Okay. Then we're going to put just a little bit of green onion. The butter on top is a must because when it's cooking, it's gonna melt down and just bring everything together. We're gonna fold, whoops. Like I said, it's a process, okay? All right, so we're gonna fold that dough. Fold that dough. So there's 2 different ways you can do your crust. You can put the edges flat like that, and you could take a fork and do impressions on it to like give it a more uniform thing. But I like to do the pinching and rolling, kind of give it that little design on there. Pinch and roll, 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 pinch and roll. I use spatula to get it off of the paper, see? So you have a nice pasty. Ooh, so cool. Bring it over here. You're gonna put it on your pan. And you do the egg wash because that's what gives it that nice golden brown and shiny look. And it also adds some flavor, which is good. Yes. My little baby's over there looking at me like, this looks yummy. You can brush it on there. Doesn't have to be perfect. You don't want to put too much, but just enough to give it that little, yeah. That's already looking awesome. And I like to do just like 3 little angles at the top. So 1, 2, 3, just like that on top. Oh yeah. So I told my mom I was making pasties today. She called me like 6 times to make sure I had it right. Don't forget this. Don't forget that. Don't forget to put a slab of butter on the, before you roll it up. Don't forget the egg wash. I didn't forget, Mama. So I figured out what was missing. A little glass of wine. And these cups are so cute. I got them at the dollar store. It says slay all day. How festive. Which is cool. Yeah. Can you say dough? Dough, dough, dough. Dreaming of eating a pasty just like the ones my mom used to make. Where the beef is tender, the potatoes are slender, green onions on the top like Eskimos. I don't know. My mom used to like make up little songs and stuff too. She still does when she cooks, and they're always hilarious. So maybe if I make up a little song while cooking, it might make these taste really authentic. My cousin's probably gonna watch this video and be like, you made pasties? Actually, that would be kind of messed up. I make our family's recipe and I don't give her any. She only lives an hour away, so. I know she's a busy woman. She'd probably appreciate a pasty. My cousin Danny, he lives in about 2 hours away, 2.5 hours, so that's too far. So, sorry. Alicia, you are in pasty zone. So. My pasties bring all the boys to the yard. It's better than y'all. It's better than y'all. I'm a teacher, but I have to charge. You laugh, but my mom actually does that too. Like I said, I want these things to be authentic. Very authentic. If you like watching some cool stuff, don't forget to subscribe to me. So I don't do cooking all the time, but when I do, it is amazing. Just marinate on that thought. And while you're marinating in that thought, hit subscribe. I feel like I'm begging, please subscribe to me. No, you don't have to. I really could give a shit, so. Check this out, nice golden brown, fresh out the oven. It's gonna pop out the top, but that's okay. Look at that nice golden brown. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, just cut right into that. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Nice and steamed and hot. Look at that meat, so tender, perfect. I know you're jealous, Mama. I'm shaking. I'm shaking because I'm so excited. Ready? Yes. The next generation, let's see what they think. You like it? Yeah, she pointed, she's like, give me more. All right, here we go.